City Council members say a judge's ruling throwing out new short-term rental regulations is only temporary. But as Rob Masson reports, a lawyer for a group of property owners praising the decision and hopes it becomes permanent.
There is little doubt that a proliferation of Airbnbs has changed the face of many New Orleans neighborhoods. And as the City Council grapples with new rules governing the way they operate, a federal judge has at least temporarily blocked their enforcement.
It's a temporary setback that gives us an opportunity to review what has been said and to work with the courts.
For years now, the New Orleans City Council debated rules governing short-term rentals out of fears they could become so prevalent they might destroy neighborhoods.
It's not just a matter of let's just do business wherever we can. It's also let's do business and continue to protect what makes our city stronger. And that's many at times our neighborhoods.
But attorney Don Wellahan argued that property owners have rights too and succeeded in getting federal judge Ivan Lamel to temporarily throw out city rules setting limits on short-term rentals so that property right issues can be fully considered in court.
I agree with how I'm saying is I think that the city needs to start focusing on some real problems we got going around here.
Attorney Wellahan praised the judge's ruling, saying she believes he correctly supported the rights of property owners to lease their property to anyone for however long they choose. And many agree.
And they're not finding the tenants to rent. So, they have to do something to make money, and I'm a big fan of bed and breakfasts.
But council members concerned about too many short-term rentals changing the character of neighborhoods say the fight isn't over yet, and they'll be watching closely as the litigation plays out in federal court, with the next hearing set for September 14th. Rob Masson, Fox 8 Local First.